Kevin's been an amateur shutterbug since the 70s. Now he's selling his prints and giving the proceeds to help young Canadian entrepreneurs. Earlier today, he walked me through his exhibit, 40 Years of Photography. It's at First Canadian Place here in Toronto. So here's the inside scoop on some of his prints. So why photography for you? When did you get interested?
Well, back in 1980, I had a career as an editor on a Steenbeck. I worked for Hockey Night in Canada for a company I started called Special Event Television. My work was in a dark room cutting film for the Olympics, working on Hockey Night in Canada. I was always interested in pursuing a career as a photographer, so I've always had a camera with me. I've taken thousands of images over the years wherever I've traveled. TV as a career and my business career has taken me everywhere. And this is a collection of my 40-year journey and images from all these different places I've been to. It's very difficult to curate a show like this, but when we took that theme, all of a sudden it came together. So there's 40 years of photography here. And
obviously that's going to be a whole range of not just your experiences, but also different types of cameras. What's the kind of first camera you had? I mean, you're really old, so it was probably a Brownie, right? I'm thinking?
Well, the first camera I could afford was a Soviet-made Zenit E. It was very inexpensive. It had limitations. In fact, I have a photograph of it here in the exhibit. And it was the first time I ever had an SLR, which you shoot through the lens, a 35mm, and I took my very first images with that. As I could afford it, I always upgraded my photography equipment. Today I have many, many different cameras. I shoot with Hasselblads, Leicas, all kinds of different technology. But it's remarkable, in this show, some of in other people's view, my best work comes from my earliest, lowest cost cameras, which shows you photography is an eclectic art. You just don't know when you're capturing an image how great it will be as time passes.
Do you have a favorite out of these images here? Obviously this is distilling down a lot of your work. Of the ones you've chosen to show here, are there some that really jump out for you?
There is one that I took decades ago in an Armenian church using the light of candles. It's right over here. And what I like about this image is it's been reborn in a different way using technology. These candles provided very, very limited light. And this was not digital at the time. This was taken with Tri-X black and white film. And because of its limitations, there's two characters in here, a face on the far left and one on the right, which is very haunting, that I could never pull from the negative decades ago. Using today's digital technology, rescanning the images and working with some great technicians, there's almost 20 people involved in this show, we were able to find that person existing in the silver nitrate.
You didn't know he was there before?
We knew he was there, but we couldn't pull him. We couldn't pull him out.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it using this remarkable new technology. And I think now this image is completely different than when I envisioned. If I showed you the original one versus this face is very haunting.
It's actually the most interesting part of this. It's the kind of the tension in the image is his face.
Exactly. So which is why I find this work so interesting, because it's a combination of what happened that moment decades ago and technology that allowed it to be reborn.
You have, I mean, we look at kind of the range of stuff you've got here. When you're out, you're wandering, and this is obviously kind of an iconic piece. What are you looking for?
This piece, the curator who hung this, Peter Hill, this is his favorite piece because he's of this generation. This bust was stolen after he died. You cannot find it anymore. It's a very rare piece. And it captures that moment when Morrison's bust, which is somewhere on this earth, but nobody knows where. Yeah. It's been stolen. These are very recent. These were taken this year in St. Bart's. I call this Woman on Chains. I love the soft woman on these hard chains. And this is just a whimsical picture that happened this summer on Nantucket. The lifeguard actually was taking a bite out of a sandwich. I didn't Photoshop his head out of it. And the more you look at it, the more it raises questions, all kinds of naughty questions.
Oh, you have to go there, do you?
I have to, because people have told me about this image now, and I've had lots of emails about it saying it's one of their favorite in the exhibit.
Did you take it knowing that he was going to bend over and take the bite out of the sandwich?
I started to see it happen because he was eating the sandwich repeatedly, and I thought, this is interesting.
Yeah.
His head's gone. And I only had that one frame that I was able to get it, but I just love the technology now. This is a metallic paper called Flex. You can almost touch that wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The technology in photography now is so remarkable. These are archival museum prints. They're very expensive to make, but I'm going to be selling them at this exhibit.
And what are you doing with the money? Why are you doing this?
I want to support an initiative that the CBC is launching to support, with me, teenage entrepreneurs. So you'll be able to go to the website starting October 23rd, put a 3-minute video up there. Tell me if you're in grade 11 or 12 why you deserve $5,000 to start your entrepreneurial journey, and I'll write you the check.
Nice.
So that's what we're promoting here. And I'm going to take this exhibit across North America, staying on that theme.
All right, let me show you my favorite one.
Please do.
It's over here.
This one?
This one.
This has a very interesting provenance. Here's what happened. It was one of my first digital images, and I lost the original digital file. I had one paper image left of it. We rescanned it, and now it's this.
Stunning. Great work. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Amanda.